he could be the next heavyweight champion.
If I was a betting man, I'd say he probably doesn't fight for a title again.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's what fighters do.
Live on the Fight Report.
Different. It's just a totally different world.
They will promote all the fighters and we're working together.
I don't want to do it at 80% or 90%. I want to be 100, 110%.
It's been an honor to have you on the show. Of course, we're welcoming Dan Thomas, my good buddy here on Fightlete Report. This weekend, UFC Flyweight Gillian Robertson is fighting. Of course, we're excited for that against Courtney Casey, UFC Fight Night Vegas, and co-host of the Morning Wood podcast, the UFC Welterweight Tyron Woodley. And of course, that podcast is still happening. You guys are still, I'm sure you got a lot to talk about. So just talk to me, brother, about the past couple of weeks. Everything going on.
You all right, man? That Corona catching up to you?
I'm sorry. No, I'm good.
Now, catching up to you, brother.
Oh, no. I drank some liquid, went down the wrong way.
I hear you.
But I know we had a challenging past couple of weeks. So everything going on, I'm sure you and Tyron have been talking about maintaining composure. Obviously focusing on the training, but giving attention to some very important topics going on in our society as well that need to be addressed.
Yeah, well, it's been a wild year. It's been a wild year for everybody. So we're essentially in uncharted territories in terms of like how we live our life and how we govern ourselves through society these days. It's just like been a really weird time for everybody. I had a lot of things going different for me personally in terms of, where I'm living, what I'm doing, how, everything. And then like the world is changing. So, honestly, it's exciting, to be honest. It's exciting. There's change, and I've always embraced change. I'm not the type that's, a creature of habit. I am hopefully good habits, but I like change. And considering where we are in the world, there's so much change going on. Like everybody loves black people right now, so like that's a change. But no, I just on a serious note, I'm embracing the world and just trying to stay on top of it because, like Darwinism, survival of the fittest, and right. if you can't adapt to where we are in the world, then you won't survive.
Right.
And what'll happen is that you'll end up with a terrible amount of mental issues because you just, if you look on social media now, everybody's fighting against each other, like this and that, because they can't adapt to the change. For me, right. I don't, and part of it is like if it gets too bad for me on social media, I just step away from it. So like sometimes my Instagram is down because I just step away from it. So
sure,
stand with the change.
Definitely, and of course nothing changes for you guys who are fighters and coaches. You're gonna keep adhere to your schedule, which is very strict. You have to make sure everything's on point and ready to fight. So I know you guys are very durable and have the mental toughness to withstand almost anything.
Yeah, like being a fighter, we are conditioned for just like we're used to being in like bad conditions. Especially like in my generation, because nothing was like luxurious. Like I'm here at the hotel now for the UFC, and I'm with the fighters, and the UFC dropped off food for them. I'm like, Jesus, like man, these guys got food, and I'm like, man, I wish I had that when I was coming up. Then my meal prep was the fast food drive-through.
Oh man. We'll get into the fights. Gillian has a tough opponent. Casey, who's a former soccer player. While she may be an accomplished athlete. I hope you get where I'm saying. How do you feel Gillian matches up with being a accomplished fighter? You know what I'm saying? Where Courtney Casey is an athlete, Gillian Robertson will be more of a fighter.
Yeah, I like this. I don't know. It's just a part of the game, and I appreciate everybody in the game that's doing it. Courtney Casey, I remember when I met her for the first time. I think it was in Korea. It may have been Korea.
Yeah.
I think she's a great athlete and a good representation of the sport, and I love the matchup. I love all matchups. To me, it's like solving a puzzle. Like, it's like I just got a new puzzle. So we just got to find a way to win. That's it. Is it we, I take the skill sets of Gillian and we communicate and we're just going to find a way to get it done. And we've come up with different game plans and strategies in order to make sure that this happens. And, and I just, appreciate Courtney Casey stepping up and taking the fight, because I know it's not like that short a notice, but she wasn't the original opponent. And I appreciate her, stepping up and taking this matchup.
Yeah, definitely, man. I appreciate all the fighters, going out of going out of their comfort zone, during these times and performing, and coaches and everyone alike with the UFC. So
yeah,
we would support that as well.
It's not easy. I mean, if you looked at the last card, like, a bunch of fighters missed weight.
Yeah.
And I think it had a lot to do with the fact that they took it on short notice, and, they underestimated the conditions and underestimated the training. And, I think I don't want to be that guy, but it's almost okay. I almost feel like it's okay to give them a little bit of a pass, like some of the ones who didn't, or if not, give them a pass, at least, like, it's a strike, but let's not be too hard on them. But let's give more credit to the ones that actually did make weight. Let's not focus on the ones who didn't, but let's focus on the ones who did and give more credit, because you're supposed to make weight for sure, but during these times, I understand it's harder.
Definitely. Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, so much. You can't even go to like a regular gym or regular sauna because it's closed. Yeah,
it's difficult.
Yeah. Now for Gillian coming back after a loss like the one to Macy, what improvements has she made since then? I know very tough on the ground. Obviously, we know that. When she gets on the ground, very hard for women to fend off her attacks. But what had to be addressed with her stand up specifically?
We just had to get more confident in preparation for it, I mean, obviously everybody knows how good she is on the ground, and we understand that people, everybody's going to want to avoid that. But so we, she has to get. I mean, but it's just a part of the natural evolution of a fighter. Like it's not like because she lost her last fight, we have to work on her stand-up. But it's something that for all fighters need to do, is address situations in their game. And, we addressed it. We said, all right, it's obviously an issue. So we just addressed it, and we just figured out what's the easiest way to make her more effective on the feet. So we were working on these things. It's always a learning process. We're always going to be learning. And like I said earlier about being able to adapt, we're always going to be changing.
Yeah.
Never want to be the same person, always changing and adapting to the current situation of where we are in the world, the current climate of the UFC, current climate of MMA, the current climate of you are as a person. So it always has to keep up and stay in front of it.
Definitely. And, of course, Tyron Woodley's last fight took on Gilbert Burns. Gilbert, hats off to him, dominant performance. Looking forward, though, when you feel Tyron will come back and who should he fight? I mean, it's hard to say, right? Who exactly is out there and who's available. But, we also have Fight Island. We have Kobe Covington, who left American Top Team. I mean, there's definitely some possibilities, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of possibilities. It's always going to be possibilities. It's a matter of what the UFC wants and, what Tyron is willing to do at this point in his career. So, I mean, these are conversations that need to be had with him, and just, being honest about, what he wants out of his career and what he's going to do now. I think the good news, for me, I'm always trying to look at the positives and look at the bright side. I think the good news is that, he lost his last two. That's not good news, but the good news is that he's human. And he really recognizes this, that he's human, that he's like, all right, man, I gotta go backwards and grind like everybody else. Like I gotta just grind like everybody else. And that's good for a guy, especially when you get a little older, because you tend to want to get a little bit more comfortable. And when you realize that, what I'm doing isn't working, it's not working, so let's change some things up. Again, we gotta adapt. So what we did the last two times didn't work. So now we gotta try something a little different.
Definitely. And Rufus Sport, I believe, has opened up since then. So it'd be good, obviously you guys will have the opportunity with that full facility and working with Duke. I know Duke said that he told me personally that Tyron's train camps is the hardest he's ever done.
Yeah, they're tough because when he gets in the zone, man, like he's very, he's hard to do. Like it's hard to keep partners around because he runs through a bunch of guys and like, so it's tough, man. Like he put, Christoph Jocko was gone for a year because
Oh, wow.
because being in camp with Tyron, you
That's
heard
crazy.
so it's tough. Like he's just Tyron's a different level athlete. Sometimes I know his last two performances didn't show it, but he
Mhm.
is a different level athlete, and when he's on, he's on.
Definitely, man. I saw him doing that little video thing when I was there to interview Rafian Stotts, who I'm sure you're familiar with. He was doing his champ camp videos, so just seeing a little bit of that.
Yeah,
Speak, I can only imagine what goes into the full process.
yeah, it's not easy.
And so, like, circling back, like Kobe Covington leaving American Top Team, like, any thoughts about that? Why you think him and Dan Lambert are, kind of part ways, or?
I mean, I think it was the better move for the team.
Mhm.
I wish it happened earlier. Honestly, I
Sure.
think it's just a better move for the team. American Top Team is a great team,
Yeah.
and that's undeniable. They got great fighters, great staff. It's a great team, and you have somebody like that on a team who causes so much tension. It reflects on the team, and Kobe was winning fights, and I think, but that says a lot about the team is that the team cares about winning.
Mhm.
So Kobe was winning fights, so you're able to get away with that stuff, and not that because he lost it has anything to do with it, because top team is loyal to their fighters, um, but I just think that he just causes so much negative attention that
Sure.
I don't think the American top team deserves that. So I wish he left a little sooner.
Right, definitely. And so also talk about, Fight Island, international fights. Maybe for you and Tyron, would this be a destination? Think about, the amenities that they've announced so far. Pretty positive, right?
I'm just curious as to see how this is all going to work out, man. Just UFC is pretty crazy. When you think about it, like some of the stuff that they do, and hats off to see. If you ever go to the UFC events, like you'll see these guys in blue shirts, and hats off to those guys because without those guys, like this doesn't happen.
Right.
This doesn't happen. So like the credit, you got to give a lot of credit to the vision of Dana and the balls Dana has to be able to pull this off during this when other sports, we got other sports not even coming back yet, and Dana says, you know what, let's put some fights on an island in Abu Dhabi, in a span of 2 weeks. Let's do this, and this is while everything's still running, and it requires a tremendous amount of cooperation from everybody. And listen, here's my thing though. I'm not mad at any fighters, like Masvidal and John Jones and them, like, they're next level guys. And
Yeah.
I'm certainly not mad at them for wanting more money. But right now, man, when we're just, the sport's trying to keep going and
Yeah.
Dana's trying to do all this stuff, I'm just like, can we wait till after we get some of this stuff done to be distracted? Because like I think these are just distractions to the game. You know what I mean? And like again, like just give Masvidal the money or something. I don't know, but I just there's a lot of other fighters that are being affected by this stuff because it's a distraction. And I just want it to be smooth. We just want everybody to cooperate sometimes so we can be smooth because he's trying to put 4 cards. Like we're talking about 4 cards in Abu Dhabi in the span of 2 weeks. Like everybody's flying to Vegas on chartered planes to go to Abu Dhabi. I mean, this is absolutely nuts.
Mm-hmm.
So I want all the beef to just end so that we can everybody work together. Like really at the end of the day, we just need to work together.
Definitely, man. I echo that sentiment as well. Talk about working with Jose Shorty Torres, and when do you think he'll return to the cage? I know he had put on a little bit of weight even before the pandemic, but fine for the what?
Put on a little bit of weight before the pandemic. He's always putting on a little bit of weight.
Right. He loves his tacos, his Mexican food, but fighting for the Brave CF. That's overseas promotion. That's not ideal right now, but talking to him about when he wants to return and how do you feel about it?
Shorty's a great kid. Me and him have a lot of things in common in terms of like getting better, and the way we treat the game, the way our perspective of the game it's very similar, in that a lot of people didn't may look at Shorty and be like, man, here's a guy who goes from gym to gym and learns things, and he trains with these people. Then he goes to a different gym, and they frown on that.
Right.
They look at him and they frown on that because they look at that as a lack of loyalty. And for me, I don't look at that as a lack of loyalty. Like if Shorty comes and trains with me, then he wants to go train at Greg Jackson, then he wants to go train with Team Alpha Male. I don't care.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't own this game. I own what I own.
Right.
He's not taking nothing from me that I care. I mean, I don't care. It's information, it's knowledge, and I think that it's our duty to give it back. You know what I'm saying? It's our duty to give it back. So, and maybe that's why wants to work with me. So he's going to work with me, and he's going to stay with me. We're going to work together daily. If Shorty wakes up one day and says, "Hey, I want to go train with somebody else," fine, man. Just let me know how it is. Peace out. If you want to come back, come back. It's just sharing information. It's information, and I don't care. I don't care to own it. I don't own it. I want to, I want to give it. But I want to give it to who I want to give it to. And if Shorty's a good representation, a good representative of what we're doing. So I'm happy to give it to Shorty. And everybody else. Like right now, I got Hannah Goldie right next door.
Okay.
Presentation. She wants to learn to get better. If you want to learn to get better, I'm willing to help you. And if she wants to go train, and she trains with, Fusion in Orlando, I don't care. Something cool and it fits in, it's working. Now I know it.
Right.
So I don't care.
Definitely. And I know she's also helped Gillian for this camp as well.
She's helped, yeah.
Excellent. Now looking at Amanda Nunes, how she picked apart Spencer. Obviously, you called it, we all did. But how do you feel about her performance? Adding to being the female GOAT, and when you're cleaning out these divisions, I mean, when she's on her way to clean out these divisions, it's going to be very tough to find more opponents.
Yeah, I thought Jermaine was the last of the threats.
Mm-hmm.
Jermaine was the last of the threats, and Jermaine gave Amanda problems, and I think that the only thing that could happen now for Amanda to have a real serious opponent would be for Jermaine to get better.
Yes.
I think Jermaine will always be a tough matchup for Amanda, and she's the only one that could possibly be a tough matchup for Amanda. Because I really don't even think Valentina is that tough of a matchup for Amanda. I think that she just caught Amanda on days where Amanda didn't really feel like hurting her. Like doing her due to her. Amanda was still in the process of finding out what type of fighter she is. It's weird too. Like when you look at fighters who have so much experience, sometimes they don't really even know who they are. Like they're always adapting and evolving, and they're trying to find out what pieces of them they want to take with them along their journey. Like you look at a guy like Masvidal. Masvidal's always been the best guy in the gym, but it wasn't until last year that he was able to really come into that. And he's been doing this for 15 years. It took him 14 years to really come into his skin and be comfortable with it and go, damn, this is who I am.
Right.
It took Amanda a while to do that, and I think she's in that role now. And I think if she fights Valentina, if they ever try to make that happen, I think she smashes her just to prove a point. Oh. But I think that Amanda has the ability to turn it on and turn it off when she wants. Like when she fought Spencer, I think she just didn't want. Like when she fought Cyborg, she was like, "Yo, Cyborg, you're gonna get it." When she fought Spencer, she was just like, "I'm just gonna win. I'm gonna make it look easy. It's gonna be pretty." But hats off to Felicia Spencer. But I don't want to prove a point on her. And she did that. And I really believe if Felicia Spencer said something about her mom, she probably wouldn't have made it out of a round. If I wanted to, she would have made it out of a round. But
sure.
But she put on a show for us. She made it look good. When she was done, she gave props to. I mean, that's Amanda. She's the GOAT. When you're the GOAT, you do what you want.
Definitely. Yeah, and I'm excited to see when she fights and who it will be, but it just feels like it's just another warm body at this point.
Yeah, I mean, it really is, and she's a great fighter, and I just don't think that there's any threats.
Mm-hmm.
No threats for her. Jermaine would need serious training to come back and be a threat. But yeah. She's the only one with enough striking ability to threaten Amanda.
Yeah, maybe it was only kickboxing.
Yeah.
But then again, we never know.
Like, if you want to see Amanda in a challenge, she'd have to fight Clarissa Shields in a boxing-only match.
Yeah.
That could be a challenge, you know. But other than that, like, there's nothing for her. There's nothing else for her. I mean,
well, what about another member of American Top Team? You know, I can't believe her name. It's like Kayla Harrison. I mean,
Harrison.
After some development and time, you know, possibly, right?
No, I don't think so. No, and I don't want to take away from Kayla Harrison's accomplishments because she's a great fighter, no doubt about it. I mean, she's a great fighter and a great competitor, even a better competitor than fighter. But you know, Amanda's just different. You know, she's just a different athlete. You know,
that's true. And then, you know, how do you feel like Gillian will get her hand raised this time, and you know, get everyone on the feet? Of course, you know you're used to it by now with no fans being there, but you know I'm sure you'll feel the love and feel the fans' presence, you know, some way, either after the fight, social media, and whatnot.
Man, I don't care about. I mean, no, I don't want to say because it's gonna come off wrong. I was just supposed to say I don't care about the fans, and that's not true. But what I'm saying is I don't care about fans being in attendance or not.
Right.
Like, it doesn't have an effect on what needs to be done. You know? From, you know, and I've been in this game from every different angle, and I'm an artist at heart in terms of like what I'm doing, and even in like performance arts, acting, and so on and so forth. Like it's all about concentration. And I don't need anything external to be able to concentrate on what it is that I want to do. I try to pass that along to my fighters. It doesn't matter if there's one person or 10,000 people watching. It's at the end of the day, it's still you and another person, and y'all have a job to do. And you have to be able to have your concentration on what it is that you want to accomplish during that 15 minutes. So fans, you know, that's all in your mind.
Right.
In your mind, you know, the energy that they give, it's really all in your mind. You have to be mentally strong enough to get there on your own, and it doesn't matter whether the fans are there or not. And then sometimes when the fans are there, you have to be mentally strong enough to block them out so that you can concentrate on what it is that you're doing. So it always works both ways. Like, you can either use them, they can either help you or hurt you, but in your mind, it's all controlled there. You have to be able to do it either way.
Definitely. Well, and then you feel like submission is going to be a key. You know, obviously she's very good on the ground. You know, Casey is good as well. You think it's going to be decided on the ground?
I think so. I mean, you know, this is a smaller cage, so it's a smaller cage. So we've been seeing a lot of close action, and you know, but Courtney's a great athlete. I'm sure she's probably been working on her takedown defense and everything, so on and so forth. But if not, like, you know, she's a brown belt in jiu-jitsu, so like it doesn't matter. Like, she's good. So we just go out to fight, and you know, hopefully, you know, what we've been working on serves its purpose.
Definitely. Well, Dan, I appreciate you taking the time to be on the Fightlete Report. Everybody check out Morning Wood with Tyron Woodley podcast as well, and you know, some of the work that you've been doing, and tell everybody, you know, how to follow you.
So, yeah, follow me on all my social media platforms at Dean Thomas, Dean spelled D-I-N, Thomas spelled the normal way. But if you go on Instagram and I ain't on, that's because I'm avoiding the drama. So, yeah, so sometimes I remove myself so I can stay more present in this thing called life. So I stay off of social media sometimes, but follow me anyway because all my content is good. And when I put out content, I always try to make sure it's fire because my content, I have 3 goals with content: to inspire, to educate, or to entertain. So follow that. I got my mask on because the UFC is forcing us to wear these things around the hotel. So I got my mask on, and but I'm gonna catch up.